Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Hello, everyone. This is Guy again with Jewelry Store Marketers for the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry podcast, and my beautiful co-host Elisa Dillon of Southern Jewelry News could not make it today, but our special guest here is Joe Thacker of Thacker Jewelry from Lubbock, Texas. Joe, thank you so much for joining us here on the podcast.
Well, Guy, appreciate it. I'm very happy to be here and excited to just sit and share with you today.
Fantastic. So, being right here in the middle of January, how did the December holiday sales go, and how was everything?
It was very good. We had a record December. The year we were up 2%, but considering the year, we felt like that was really good because the year before we had a record year there too. So,
wow,
business is good.
Okay, can you attribute it to anything? Was there something that you guys did to make sure that the holidays was good?
The one thing that we did add that I feel like had considerable impact is clienteling. We stepped it up substantially in the last 90 days. And of course, you can never be sure where it actually worked and where the customer wasn't just coming in anyway.
Right.
But we did see a tremendous uptick because let's see, August, September, and October were way off. And then we picked it all back up in November and December.
Wow. Okay. Now, what software do you use for clienteling?
Client book.
Client book. Okay. How long have you guys been using client book?
Seriously, 90 days. We've had it for a year.
Got it.
But it's taken us some time to really get it integrated with our system.
Right. Was that because you guys were busy, or was it challenging, or trying to figure it out, or what?
It was more me just not putting my foot down.
Yeah, there you go.
We're going to do it.
You're gonna do it.
There's always resistance, hesitancy about.
Yeah.
It's not cold calling, but still, it's a little bit of a push.
Exactly. Okay. Now, would you recommend clienteling to any jeweler?
Definitely. I think that continuous contact, and you have to do it with, consideration. You don't just bombard them.
Sure.
But it works.
Sure. I really, throughout my working life, I've had many roles in sales and roles that require, building a relationship, and when you remember somebody's anniversary, their birthday, then, last time you spoke to them, their son's little league team was going to the championships, and, next time you talk to them, how did it go? That stuff makes a lot of, makes a difference.
It does.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And what kind of things do you guys keep track of other than like anniversaries and birthdays and so forth?
Let's see. Anniversaries, birthdays. What else do we? The problem is here, I don't actually do.
No worries.
Hence, we're very fortunate in a lady moved here from California who's been in the jewelry business out there with a large chain for about 30 years. She was in all kinds of controls out there.
Perfect.
And when she stumbled in and went to work with us, that's made a tremendous difference too in the tracking and clienteling.
Right. I think some of those things are going to make the extra difference. They're just, anything great is not easy, right? You could be just like anybody else, and you put that little extra effort in, and you can totally sail beyond them because you made that extra effort. And keeping track of your clients and saying hello and keeping those records, that's little work here and there all day long, every day. But then it accumulated to be able to really ensure that you had a fantastic holiday. So That was fantastic. That was great.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. Yep.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I come from a very, very small town, a western ranching, farming community where we actually have a factory where we make, we do our own custom jewelry, and that town, you have to be extremely friendly. Right. Your friends are all around you, and so I've tried to bring that to Lubbock.
Yeah.
And we just go that extra mile with our customers to make them feel comfortable and to take care of them.
Got it. Perfect. Aside from clienteling, was there anything else that you felt worked for you for the holidays?
Well, we do a full year marketing plan. We have a very good marketing company that we work with, and we are definitely top of mind in our market.
Nice.
We're the last large jewelry store standing, and we spend a lot to reach out to our customers as well as to anybody new, because like most of Texas, we have huge influx of new people.
Right.
And so we have to reach out to them and okay. Make contact.
Yeah.
And it's been very effective.
Fantastic. Do you have a pulse of the different type of marketing that you kind of do regularly? You do SEO or social media, paid ads, billboards?
We do all of it.
You do all of it.
We don't do billboards.
No,
we don't do any print.
Any print. Okay.
No.
So you don't print a holiday flyer like a lot of jewelers do. And
no, we've tried it many times. It has never worked for us.
Got it. And but you do paid ads like Google or Facebook or social media?
Yes.
Okay.
Got it. Yes.
And they work for
you. They work quite well for us. Fantastic. Of course, the trouble with advertising is it's hard to really gauge it.
Yep.
Where that money's actually coming from.
Right. That's a tough one, especially having a brick and mortar store. You do some online advertising, and then they walk in, and you never know that they came to you because of the thing they saw online.
Right.
Unless you specifically.
And we try to track that.
Exactly.
We actually ask them. But even so, it's a really gray area.
Yeah, absolutely. But for you already have a sense that the print work just didn't do as much in online, and those have been working for you. So
yes. And then we do a lot of TV.
Okay.
We do a lot of radio. We do.
Got it.
And that's extremely effective.
Fantastic. So what has been really working for you in terms of product type of products?
Well, of course, right now it's shaken up the market. Lab-grown diamonds,
of course,
are 4 to 1.
4 to 1.
Interestingly, dollar volume, they're the same.
Got it.
But it takes 4 times the number of lab-grown to make.
Exactly. So your revenue from lab-grown versus earth-mined are the same. Now, I'm not asking for specific numbers, but how about profits? Do you have a sense of which one's producing more profits for you?
And no question, lab-grown outproduces.
All right.
By twice.
Got it. Fantastic. So lab-grown, that's the hot topic these days, right? And also,
well, I've been selling them for 8 years. So we started way back. I could see what was coming,
right?
Or thought I could, at any rate. Yep. Hindsight tells you were a great decision maker sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. Fantastic. Well, as you're probably aware, there's still a lot of jewelers out there with the question: should I sell lab grown, or should I put more effort into lab grown? Why? There's questions that pop up like, what's your selling technique between earth mined and lab grown? You got any advice in that whole realm?
Well, they're here.
Yeah.
They're not going away. And you have the choice of letting somebody else sell them or you sell them. And we do not promote them. We have never advertised them. We have no intentions to. But today, most of our customers walk in asking us about them, particularly the young people.
Right.
And they walk in, they've got $5,000 to $10,000 to spend on an engagement ring. They can get a 1 carat. Now they can get a 3.5 carat. And they look at it, and 90% of them go with 3.5 carat lab over the earth mines.
Yeah.
And yet you step up another 20 years and it all changes.
Right. Exactly. Wow. Yep. And you know, do you leave money on the table? Let somebody else get it, or you get it yourself. You know. So
Exactly.
yeah. So
And I think if you handle it properly and you just explain it, which we took the approach back when we were selling them for 30% under earth mined, of look, these are not going to be the same as the time goes on.
Yeah.
And let them make the call.
Yeah. Do you do any kind of buybacks on diamonds, earth mined and lab grown?
Only earth mined.
Only earth mined. Yeah, and that's what
We will.
most jewelers are doing these days, right?
Right.
The prices on lab grown are just so unpredictable.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, fantastic. In here in 2024, it looks like you did okay for most of the year. You said it was just kind of a little bit of increase. I think you said 2%, and then you had a fantastic record-breaking December. What are you looking to improve in 2024?
Well, I think our focus is just what we've been doing with clienteling worked into that very seriously. And I mean, I'm recording everything, holding everybody accountable every week. And like anything, that's the most important thing about it, I think, is holding people accountable.
Sure. Right. Fantastic. You have a beautiful website. Looks like you have a beautiful store. Amazing. How long have you guys been around?
51 years.
Wow.
That's how long I've been around.
Oh, right.
Now, I've actually had Thacker Jewelry since 1979. I moved back to the little town I grew up in and put the factory there, and actually did not sell retail. I only manufactured and wholesale until 83.
Got it. Now, the picture on your About Us page, little brick building, was that your original building, or?
That's the factory.
Oh, that's the factory.
That's an old bank. That's an old bank building in this little town. That's my grandfather was part of building that building in 1914.
Wow, amazing. The jewelry industry has changed a lot in 50 years.
A lot. I actually started with Native Americans in Albuquerque, New Mexico, cutting turquoise.
Wow.
And supplying them. Okay. I was across the street from Rio Grande Jewelry Supply.
Yeah? Okay.
And people, they're all from all walks of life, but primarily American Indians.
Right.
And they would come there to buy their silver and their supplies. Well, at that time, it was booming so. This was like 73, 74, that they would have to take a number and wait 30 minutes to an hour to get waited on. And so they would stand out in front of this building, and I was across the street with a big sign put up, "Cut turquoise while you wait." So I had a captive audience.
Nice. That's fantastic. How much of your business is the turquoise still these days?
No,
none. It's all gone.
No, I sold that business in 1977 to Cabana.
Got it.
And
all right, fantastic. So it looks like you guys are doing pretty well, selling a lot of lab grown, a lot of jewelry, doing what you should in terms of keeping up with clients. Is there some part of the business that you would like to improve?
Just to sell more.
More.
I have an excellent crew. I've got 21 employees. Some of them have been with me 35 years. One's coming up on 40 years. I really don't have, other than just keep doing what we're doing and doing better.
Fantastic. Just curious, with your 21 people and people that have been there for quite a while, is there any tips you can give to other jewelers that help them gain the trust and the longevity with employees like that?
Well, I've always approached it from the philosophy of I'm not going to hire somebody that I'm not pretty sure is going to do quite well. And once I do hire them, I give them the typical 90 days to perform or to show me you don't belong here. And then I pay them very well. And they become part of the family. We try very hard to take care of them.
Right.
And it's worked. I mean, people come and go, but I probably lose an employee about every 5 years.
Right.
And once they get here, they generally don't leave. And I think it's just taking care of people and treating them right.
Perfect. I always believe in the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Right on the front page of your website, nobody can miss it, but there's you. There's you in some videos. Looks like some very well produced videos. How important do you think it is for jewelry stores to use video in their marketing?
I think it's critical. I think you can, through the video, you can really show who you are.
Absolutely.
And that, I mean, one of the things that we get from people all the time, two things really. One is about those videos, how they love them and how well they're made. And that, of course, goes to our marketing company. Mm-hmm. But the other is when they walk through the front door, they time and again tell me or the people working here they feel very welcome when they first walk in. As you know, a lot of people, when they first come into a jewelry store, there's a bit of an intimidation. They don't go there often. It's a little overwhelming. And we try to break that down just by being, and West Texas is friendly anyway, most of the people here. But we try to make that a high priority.
Yeah, fantastic. Do you have any just general tips at all for jewelers looking to improve, or maybe they didn't have the best holiday and so forth? You mentioned the clienteling, and you do all kinds of different marketing, and you didn't do print's not working for you anymore. You're doing online, but you got anything that you would help? Words of wisdom for people out there.
I think one of the most important things, and one of the things that changed our business dramatically, was very good software.
Oh.
And advice outside of our business as far as getting rid of aged inventory. Right. I mean, and they're really simple concepts. They're just normal business concepts.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm assuming other jewelers were a lot like me. Oh, well, I'll sell that piece in 4 or 5 years. It's too nice a piece. And it's just so many ways that we've just run our business in an old-fashioned style and thought that was going to take care of us. Well, it doesn't work that well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. What software do you recommend? You said, good software. What good software are you using? Aside from
we use the Edge.
The Edge. There you go, of course.
Yeah. And we use the Edge Retail Academy for advice and kind of keep us in line.
All right. Well, fantastic. Well, in our little interview during the setup of this podcast, meeting, you gave a pearl of wisdom and a tip. And it was to never give up, and that's really amazing. Is there can you talk further about that? Why is that meant so much to you?
Well, when I started in the jewelry business, I'm actually a mechanical engineer who never practiced outside of getting my degrees in it. And I stumbled into the jewelry business in Albuquerque, New Mexico, with no money. And just kept beating my head against the wall, so to speak.
Sure.
And in 18 months' time, I had 120 employees. Wow. Not because I knew what I was doing, but because I was at the right place at the right time.
There you go.
But I kept persevering. Yeah. And then when I sold out in 1977, I bought a sailboat and went to sea for a year and a half. I was actually planning to sell around the world, but I realized I didn't have enough money, nor did I know enough about how to do it, coming from a small town in West Texas. But anyway, then I stumbled into a man up in Boston who introduced me to diamonds, and having already been in the jewelry business, then I went and opened up in this small town. And through these 50 years in the business, I've been broke twice. And I don't mean slightly, I mean broke. I didn't have to declare bankruptcy. I just kept fighting through, paid everybody off, made my way back. And I've made a lot of mistakes. But I do believe that whatever business you're in, and especially in the jewelry business, if you persevere, you never give up, you keep taking care of things, eventually you'll win out.
Yeah.
And
that's amazing.
So that's what I mean by never, ever give up.
Never, ever give up. That's fantastic. And my all-time favorite quote, kind of very similar, and I heard this when I was 16, and I've never seen it again. And I've researched throughout the years who said this, because I don't want to, someone said this, someone coined that phrase, and I'm not about to claim it as mine. Someone else said it. But it stuck with me, and the quote is, "Those who are afraid of the thorns will never be able to pick the roses." And
that's good.
That's really good, and that always stuck with me. And those thorns could be many things, right? Family. It could be, maybe you feel like you keep losing. You're doing all the things you think are right, and it's just not working. And you keep working, and maybe you will take one step forward, two steps back, but you just keep working and working. One day you realize, oh my gosh, I passed all of this, and I achieved this, and I firmly believe in that, and I'm so happy I found that quote. Not that it's it's the thing that changed my life. I'm still working, I'm still working. I'm still after.
Yeah.
But some people give up too easily.
Oh, I think so. In a lot of ways, in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a life. What you're talking about is life.
Absolutely.
And it was Winston Churchill's where my quote basically comes from.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And but I've just, interesting in the jewelry business, you always think January after Christmas, everything will be good. I'll have all this money and everything's perfect. And for years, it was ever January. By the 15th, it's like, man, it really didn't work out quite like I thought it was going to.
Right. But well, that's that advice, never ever give up, is really amazing advice, as well as all the tips and that you've given about the right software, clienteling, doing all the things, taking care of your customers. So it's funny enough, some people always wonder what's the secret, what's the secret, and sometimes it's the most basic things. You take care of your customers, right?
Exactly. And I think your comment on the golden rule.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And you do that with everybody.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the people walk in. A good story I have is I was first year in business. I'm in Roaring Springs. I've got a little bitty office in an old building there. Nobody knows I'm there. I'm trying to wholesale primarily, but if you stumble into this little town, I'll sell you jewelry. It's Christmas Eve. I think I sold $80,000 that year total. And this guy walks in the door, and he's got these old coveralls on and a beat-up hat on his head, and he's obviously a farmer. And it's 4 o'clock Christmas Eve, and I've already had a little scotch, getting ready to go to the Christmas party and get out of there. And he walks in, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to waste my time. He's not going to do anything.
Yep.
And I'm 6 feet, but he was about 6'4", and a big guy standing there. And so he starts wanting to look at jewelry, and he says, I heard about you. I live 30 miles west of here. And so I show him a few things, and all of a sudden he says, okay, I want that one, that one, that one, and that one. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm jumping up. I'm getting them all together. You want them wrapped? And I put them in there, and it's $8,800. He pulls this giant wad of $100 bills out and peels them all off.
Wow.
And so I'm like, man, I really appreciate that. And he leans over the counter, and he goes, boy, you didn't think I was going to buy a damn thing, did you? And I was like, oh, no, I didn't. He said, don't lie to me, son. He says, but you better learn not to treat people like that again.
Yeah.
I tell that story to everybody that's ever worked for me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, opportunities come forward, and you never know who you're talking to or what the situation.
No, you don't.
You know, and you almost have to. You know, obviously things come, as they say in business these days. A lot of shiny objects pop up, and you're like, oh my God, look at that. Let me run over there. But you know, I like exploring and checking things out, but then you have to decide on what you need to do. But again, you know, you got somebody standing, a customer in front of you or over, you know, a call like this, you know, you got to take care of them because you never know who they are, how they're going to affect your life, what kind of opportunities that come from it. And regardless, if nothing ever comes from it, you probably gained a friend. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's amazing. Hey, it was really nice talking to you, Joe. I love all the pearls of wisdom that you really shared here. I know a lot of jewelers. We've talked to a lot of jewelers recently. Some had great Christmases. Some didn't have so fantastic Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Yeah, and things like the wisdom and advice that you've shared here, that helps, you know. And somebody out there might be just almost there, right? But they heard Joe said never ever give up, you know, and maybe okay, let me keep on keeping on a little bit more, and then it comes around. So, but so thank you so much for all the advice and that you've shared with other jewelers and here on the podcast. Certainly amazing that you had a fantastic holiday, and I hope that 2024 is just as good, if not better. And so thank you so much, Joe, for joining us here.
Thank you, Guy. And helping other people, I think, is what you're doing. And I'm glad to be a small part of it, and appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe. Anyone listening out there, if you want to check out Joe, give them some love. Thacker Jewelry. I'm sure from their website you can find their social media. Just like all their stuff. You know, if you're in Lubbock, Texas, or in West Texas, make sure you go see Joe. Also, make sure if you're checking out Southern Jewelry News and also Jewelry Store Marketers, my company. And thank you for joining us at this podcast edition. We'll catch you on the next one. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Take care.
Thank you, Guy.
Thanks for listening to the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast. For more information about the show, please visit southernjewelrynews.com/podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you can catch the next show. See you then.